Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Yasoda Nandana Bhajana Ranjana. Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari. Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamaswami Paramahansa Prabhu Jagacharya Asadasa Shri Srimad Divine Grace Shila A.C. Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Anantagari Vaishnavani Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Prem Sikha Hristo Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Giradhar Srivasti Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Jai Radha Krishna Gopinath Shama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Ki Jai Shri Maya Parnav Dham Ki Jai Ganga Maya Ki Jai Jamuna Maya Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Swami Veda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai Hoinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Go Premanandi. All glorious some devotees, all glorious some devotees, all glorious some devotees, all glorious Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from the Srimadbhagavatam. Canto 4, Chapter 24. This is the last verse of Lord Shiva's chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva. And this is text number 79. 4:24:79. Gitam mayedam naradeva nandana parasya pungsa paramatmanastavam tapanta ekagra dayastapo mahat taradvam ante tata apasyate sitam Gitam mayedam naradeva nandana parasya pungsa paramatmanastavam japanta ekagra dayastapo mahat taradvam ante tata apsyate sitam Gitam mayedam naradeva nandana parasya pungsa paramatmanastavam japanta ekagra dayastapo mahat taradvam ante tata apsyate sitam Gitam mayedam naradeva nandana parasya pungsa paramatmanastavam japanta ekagrayastapo mahat taradvam ante apsyate sitam Gitam mayedam naradeva nandana Prajyayastapo mahat taradvam ante tata apsyate sitam Yastapo mahat taradvam ante tata apsyate sitam Gitam, the song, Maya, by me, Idam, this, Naradeva, Nandanaha, O son of the king, Parasya, of the Supreme, Pungsa, personality of Godhead, Parama Atmanaha, the super soul of everyone, Stavam, prayer, Japanta, chanting, Eka Agra, perfect attention, Diya, intelligence, Tapa, austerities. Mahat, great. Charadvam, you practice. Ante, at the end. Tata, thereafter. Apchita, will achieve. Ipsitam, the desired result. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My dear sons of the King, the prayers I have recited to you are meant for pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supersoul. I advise you to recite these prayers, which are as effective as great austerities. In this way, when you are mature, your life will be successful, and you will certainly achieve all your desired objectives without fail. Purport. It's a long purport, so be attentive. be attentive. If we persistently engage in devotional service, certainly all our desires will be fulfilled in due course of time. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thus end the Bhaktivinoda purports to the 4th canto, 24th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Chanting the Song Sung by Lord Shiva. Om Yanatamandasya Gyananjana Salakya Chakshram Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurve Namah Mukam Krotavachalam Pongam Longhayate Grim Yatkripataraham Pandeshikaram Dinadaranam Vanchikalpatubhyasta Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Swasti Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. First, I'd like to say something that has been mentioned in the past couple of days about mudras. It's interesting. The body is like there's body language. One time, Prabhupada was in Calcutta Temple. He went into the temple room, and devotees were in the kirtan with their hands behind them. Sometimes you see devotees with their hands behind them. About 6 of them. Prabhupada went behind. He was slapping their hands. He said, "Don't stand before the deities like this." It's kind of like, or that might be worse. Yes. Or like this, or like this. This is not the way to stand before these. Prabhupada slapped their hands. The best way to stand, Prabhupada said, the best way to stand before the deities is, that's right, like Lord Chaitanya, he is right there, Lord Chaitanya. This is the best way. Next best is, that's the next best. Many devotees, actually, there's one devotee he would even chant japa like this, with his beads like this, like prayerful move when he's chanting. So these are the best ways to. Because it's body language. So just thought I'd mention that since it's been brought up. So these prayers that Lord Shiva chanted, they're meant to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that's actually the goal of life, is to please Krishna. And there's a verse in the Bhagavad Gita that Prabhupada said is the summary of the entire Bhagavad Gita. Yat krosi yadasnasi yajijahoti dasya yastapasyasi kaunti tat kuru samarar. Prabhupada said that's the summary of the entire Bhagavad Gita. All that you do, all that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities you perform, should be done as an offering to me. So this is the goal, to make offerings to please Krishna. And of course, in this age, it's not easy to please Krishna because we have our Kali Yuga minds, our senses. There's one devotee who prayed that in this age of Kali, the mind and the senses are very powerful, and to conquer them is so difficult. It's like having millions of obstacles before us. He said millions of thorny obstacles. But because you're so merciful, it's possible. And if I don't get your mercy, then what is the use of my life? What will I do? Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur. So, not easy to control the mind, to control the senses, to please Krishna. But we have many, we're so fortunate, we have so many nice examples in Shastra of devotees that have pleased Krishna. It's like there's one great devotee, Prithu Maharaj. He was a Shakti Vaishavatar. And he wanted to do 100 horse sacrifices. He got to 99. And he was going to do his 100th. But there was somebody that didn't like that he was going to do 100. Yeah. Besides David, anybody know who? Indra. He had done 100. Nobody else had done 100, so he didn't want anybody to be equal to or better than him. So the last horse, he stole the last horse. And Prithu Maharaj's son is also very powerful. He went to kill him. He had gotten some message that it was Indra who had stolen the horse. But Indra, someday he could be a very questionable personality. He took on the dress of a sannyasi. And sannyasis are very respected, even today, in Kali Yuga still. Even if you're in India still, if you're wearing saffron, you're considered a sannyasi. Even though you're just a brahmachari, there's so much respect. It's amazing. It's completely amazing. So he didn't kill him. So he let him go. And then he found out actually it was Indra. But anyway. So then they were going to do it again. And again, he stole the horse. Again, took on the dress of a sannyasi. So, again, he didn't kill him. But then the brahmanas, they thought, boy, this person is such a disturbance. So they were going to chant mantras to kill Indra. They'd go into the fire. And Lord Brahma said, he's Indra, you can't do that. So they didn't. So then, later on in this pastime, Lord Vishnu comes with Indra. That's amazing. It's an amazing pastime. Here he's such a disturbance to someone who's trying to do service. But he's a devotee. But it's very unprecedented that someone could be in this position. So, Lord Vishnu was pleased that Prithu Maharaj just accepted that he would just do 99. And then they paid obeisances to each other. It's a nice thing about Vaishnavism. If there's some difficulty, some friction between devotees, what do? You go to each other and you pay obeisances. Prabhu, please forgive me for my offense. And you go on with life. Yeah. It's a nice thing. You pay obeisances. Yeah. But Krishna is most pleased with the person that goes first to offer obeisances and beg for forgiveness, more so than the second one, because he made that initiative. So then Lord Vishnu was so pleased. He was so pleased with King Prithu. He said, I'll give you any benediction you want. Anything you want. Bhakti Alex, what would you ask for? You're on the spot. You're on the hot seat. 3 sentences. What would you ask for? Unlimited sandwiches. Okay. He prayed not for unlimited sand dishes. He prayed for 1,000,000 ears so he could hear the glories of Krishna. Just think that Rupa Goswami prayed to have millions of ears and millions of times. So that's what he asked for That's the only thing. Yeah, just give me millions of ears to hear your glories. Isn't that amazing? So we can understand. Shravanam Kirtan. There's hearing. Hearing is so important, and therefore, this most important part of the day. We're just hearing. We're hearing the holy name. We're hearing Bhagavatam. Just to start, to get a nice transcendental momentum going, so that we could think of Krishna throughout the day. So there's another devotee who pleased Krishna more than anyone else in all the creation. Srimati Radharani. Nobody can please Krishna more than Srimati Radharani. Everything she did, or everything she does, is pleasing to Krishna. It's described that she cooks for Krishna eternally, and she's never made the same prep twice. Try to figure that one out. And therefore, in all the temples, Radharani's kitchen. If you pray to Radharani before you start cooking, there's a good chance you're going to really cook up some nice preparations for Krishna. So she's very, very pleasing to Krishna. So when Mother Yasoda heard that she was a real good cook, she got this benediction from Durvasa Muni that whoever eats that which is cooked by Radharani lives a long life. So when Mother Yasoda heard that, she went to the mother of Radharani and said, please, I've heard that she has this benediction. Can she cook for my Krishna? Yes. So she went and she was cooking for Krishna. So Radharani was very pleased with that, and Krishna was very pleased with this arrangement. So Mother Yasoda was so pleased with Radharani that one day she wanted to give many gifts to Radharani out of gratitude. Gratitude is very important. So there was a big box, and she put all these things in there for Radharani, and Krishna said to Mother Yasoda, Mata, what is this? What are you putting? What is this box? And are you putting these things in for? Oh, this is for Radharani, because she's doing such nice service here, cooking for you. I just want to show some gratitude. Oh, that's nice. So then she went into another room, and Krishna told his friends, hey, take all this stuff out. Take all the gifts out. Come on. I'm going to go. Hare Krishna, we're back. So Krishna told the cowboys, get all these toys out of there, get all these things out of there. There's the gifts, and I'm gonna go in the box. Surprise. So they did that. Krishna went in the box. And then Mother Yasoda came back, and she saw Abhimanyu coming by. So he's the husband of Radharani. She said, Abhimanyu, please come. I have these gifts I want to give to Radharani. You please take this box for Radharani. She's doing such nice service for Krishna, please. Yeah, okay. So he picked it up, carrying it, takes it to the house, and says to Radharani, Mother Yasoda is given these gifts for you because you're cooking. Yeah, okay, so they took it in there. Before the box was opened, Radharani said to the other gopis, I'm feeling the same way I feel when I'm around Krishna. This is unusual contents here in this box. So they opened it up, and out comes Krishna. So all the gopis were very pleased, and Krishna was pleased. So the Radharani is very, very pleasing to Krishna. And there's a devotee in the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who also very much pleased Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and that was Vasudev Dutt. Vasudev Dutt was such a great devotee that he prayed that all the sins of everyone come upon him. All the sins of everyone in the universe come upon him, so that everybody can be liberated and go back to Godhead. He wanted to accept all the suffering. He said, even perpetually, if it takes that I suffer perpetually, please allow all their sins to come upon me so that they can go back home. When Lord Chaitanya heard this, he went into ecstasy. Tears were coming from his eyes. His body was shivering. He was so ecstatic to hear this from Vasudev Dutt. And then he could understand, or he said that I can understand that you're saying this because you're an incarnation of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj is also very, very merciful, very compassionate. So Lord Chaitanya, he's the most merciful incarnation of Krishna, because Lord Chaitanya is not just Krishna, he's also Srimati Radharani. And Radharani is known as the tender-hearted counterpart of Krishna. She's very compassionate as well. So this is why Lord Chaitanya is so merciful. And recently, there's another great personality who was very pleasing to Krishna, and that was Srila Prabhupada. It was predicted, Priti Viti Achayata Nagaradigram Sarva Chaprachoyoy Moinam, that the name of Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, will be spread to every town and village throughout the world. So Srila Prabhupada, he did that, and still it's happening all over the world. People are hearing the holy name of Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is very pleasing to Krishna, that people are getting an opportunity to hear his name, to hear the philosophy. So this is one point from this verse. Now here also it's mentioned that these prayers are as effective as great austerities. Just by chanting these prayers, it's as effective as great austerities. Now, sometimes people, they perform austerities but get practically no result. It's like there's Buddhists, there's Buddhists that perform these amazing austerities, but they're atheists. They get nothing out. There's no result. Or you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it if when they get nothingness. They get void. Nothing. Literally nothing. But what's really amazing, if they want nothing, they're getting. In Singapore, I go to Singapore every year, and they have this festival there where they're worshipping some demigod, and they perform these unbelievable austerities. I'm there. They put they hook their bodies with hooks, like fish hooks, and like 100 of them, stick them to their skin, and they're pulling these. Sometimes they're pulling carts, and they have these umbrellas, like, and they hook they have the hooks here, and all the weight is on their hooks. Yeah, these things must weigh 50 pounds, and they got all these hooks around their body, and they're bouncing around. It's like, huh? Oh yeah, no, it's a whole festival. It's a parade. There's bunches of them. There's tons. There's like, I don't know, maybe 500 of them. No, we got the kirtan. We got the kirtan. And we're distributing books. And so that's the only time that we can have kirtan through Singapore in the public, and distribute books. That's the only time. When we have Rath Yatra, we have to go to a stadium. We can't do it publicly. That's the only time that we could have a public Harinam and book distribution. No, they have strings. Yeah, strings, and the strings are attached to the umbrella or whatever it is. No, they're holding it up, But yeah, they have some. It's like an umbrella, so they have and it's just like. Yeah. It's unbelievable. But what's amazing, you don't see any blood. There's no blood. I guess they get, I don't know, maybe they get some mystic powers. But useless. Yeah, useless. Yeah. They're doing it to get some material benefits. That's what they're doing, demigod worship. You get some material benefit. And some of them may, but ultimately it's useless. And even amongst devotees, sometimes they do austerities, but austerities in the mode of passion, or even a little ignorance. There's one devotee, he was chanting 64 rounds a day, but he was boasting. He was telling, he even told me, I'm chanting 64 rounds a day. And so there was trying to get some recognition from this. And devotees didn't really appreciate it much. It's nice that he's doing that, but even in Christianity it says, do your penances in the closet. Because that mood is there. You do some great, you try to get some recognition. So you do it in your closet so no one sees. So you don't try to get some name, fame, recognition from that. So this devotee was doing like that. Eventually he stopped that. He stopped 16 even, and now he's an atheist. Yeah, he's an atheist. So amazing, huh? So here he is, he was initiated. He was initiated. Oh yeah. Born in the movement. Born in the movement. Yeah. So when we do austerities, we have to be careful that we're doing it for the pleasure of Krishna. And Prabhupada says in one purport that if one is doing great service, but he doesn't desire any recognition for that, he just wants to do it for the pleasure of Krishna, then Krishna, he bestows his mercy upon that person. Because he could see it, he knows the heart. So he gives his mercy to that person. So, interesting. So another point here that is made, Prabhupada says in the purport, that if we persistently engage in devotional service, certainly all of our desires will be fulfilled in due course of time. So persistence, this steady service to Krishna. This is what is it? Steadiness wins the race, right? Yeah. So the steadiness is very, very important. Just like the example is given that you might have a huge boulder, but you have soft water going down on this huge boulder. Eventually, that soft water goes all the way through the huge boulder. Isn't that amazing? Soft water goes through the stone, the big hard stone. So this chanting of Hare Krishna is like this soft chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. It breaks through our stone-like false ego or stone-like heart. It's said that if one chants the Hare Krishna mantra and the heart does not melt, tears don't come to the eyes, then one's heart is considered to be steel-framed. So therefore we have to really take this chanting of Hare Krishna to heart, and we'll get this mercy from Krishna. We have to be steady. Vyavasyame kabudhir eke hakuna bahusaka hinantasam buddhayo vyavasayanam. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he says that one should accept the order of the spiritual master as one's life and soul. And Prabhupada said he got great enthusiasm from this statement by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, to accept the order of the spiritual master as one's life and soul. So this steady determination to follow the order of the spiritual master. Prabhupada had that incredible determination, that incredible steadiness. So when we're chanting, we have to chant. Prabhupada said a few things, that we should chant like a baby crying out to the mother. Yeah. Like I've been in programs where I was at a program and the child is crying, really crying. The mother's not there; she went somewhere or something, and people are trying to kind of appease the child, but the mother comes back immediately. The child stops. I remember I was on book distribution one time, and somehow, the Miami airport can be really hectic. It's like so many people. Somehow, a child got separated from the mother. A little child, maybe 2.5, maybe 3 years old, just screaming bloody murder. Just screaming. The mother was, and the child's like, "Where's my mother?" Yeah. And I was thinking, wow, okay, that's how we should chant. Like a child crying out to the mother, like really. I was impressed. Another time there was a child that was this is really amazing, trying to get away from the mother. The child was maybe 5 years old, and just trying to get away from the mother, like just running away from the mother, and the mother's trying to catch him. No, just trying to get away. Just trying to get away. Maybe it wasn't a good mother, I don't know. But a lot of people are like that, just trying to get away from God. We come here to get away from God. So now we're trying to get closer to Krishna. And one devotee gave an example, just like you might be in your room and you hear a knock. You hear one knock. And you might get a little attention. Like, oh, what's that? And then maybe 10 minutes later you hear another knock. Oh, and then 5 minutes later you hear a lot of knocking. Oh, definitely someone's there. So if we chant sincerely, it might be like, if we chant a little bit sincerely, sometimes there's a knock there. But when we really get sincere and we really, really want Krishna, it's like Krishna. Oh yeah, someone's really trying there. So it's the sincerity of purpose is constant. Therefore, this verse, Tesam sarat yuktanam, bhajatam pritipurvakam, tadami puri yogam tam yeno piyantite. So important. It's constant. This is what Krishna is looking for. This constant, this constant knocking, and that gets the attention of Krishna. So, Srila Prabhupada, he said that this word Mahatma means steady heart. Steady heart. Mahatmanastamam partha daivin prakritim asha bhajanti nana manaso gyatva buddhadim avyayam. That those who are not deluded, the great souls, are protected by this divine nature. They're fully engaged in devotional service. So, this steady heart, Mahatma. In this world, so many jiratmas, unsteady, no desire to serve. Very little desire is there to serve Krishna. But Mahatma means this steady heart, steady desire to serve Krishna. And there's one verse that actually it's the first verse I ever learned. Yang hinav yatyantyete purusang purusarsava samaduka sukamdiram somatadvaya kalpate. I was distributing books in Miami at the streetlights. Very difficult. So difficult. I'd been in the movement for 2 months, and they put me out in the streetlights. But I knew it was important. I knew because it didn't take long to hear or to understand that book distribution was important, especially back in the early days. The momentum was still there. It was 78. So it was so difficult that I was thinking, well, maybe there's a verse in the Bhagavad Gita that could help me that could help me tolerate this and continue on with this service. So Krishna says, one who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. So I thought, well, that's a good thing to remember. One who is steady in happiness and distress, and who is steady in both, is certainly eligible for liberation. So we have to be steady in the distress and the happiness. Now one may ask, well, why is it difficult to be steady in happiness? Right? I mean, when you're unhappy, then everything's good. Well, that's the difficulty. But in the Bhagavad Gita purport to this verse, avartam jnanam etena jnanino nitrayena. Very important verse. Prabhupada says, or Krishna, he says, avartam jnana. Thus the wise live in his pure consciousness is covered by his eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. So in the purport, the last sentence of the purport, Prabhupada says that the so-called happiness that one experiences in this material world is the ultimate enemy of the living entity, of the sense enjoyer. This is the ultimate enemy of the living entity. One might say, well, why is that the ultimate enemy of the living entity? I'll give you an example, a nice example given by Fridananda Maharaj. You're driving down the street. You have some destiny. You want to go somewhere. But the street is not very nice. Like, let's say Russia. You've been to Russia, right, David? The streets are terrible. You wouldn't believe it. We were driving one time and there was a car stuck in a pothole. Big pothole. The streets are just terrible. There's so many potholes in the street. So you're going down the street trying to go somewhere. And you only go like 30 miles an hour, 25 miles, because the streets are so bad. So you're cruising along. But then on the right, you see a nice highway. An American-style highway. Palm trees on each side. You have, rose bushes in the medium there. Nice and smooth. Well, hey, that's a better road. Let me just go down that road there. See, make a right and just cruising down the road, nice and smooth. You're going 70 miles an hour. Yeah, this is great. This is cool. But there's a problem. You keep going the wrong way. So you got to backtrack. So you're wasting time. So there may be some difficulty, some austerity, but you're going the right way. And another way, there might be some apparent happiness, but you're going the wrong way. So material happiness is the greatest enemy of the living entity, because we get distracted. We get distracted by material happiness. And like so many people in the world, Europe is the main belief system there, atheism. Because everything's good. Why don't we need God? You go to third world countries, practically everybody believes in God. Practically everybody. So that says a lot right there. So, any question or comment? Correction?
Yeah, you're mentioning Prahlad Vasudev Dutt being Prahlad Maharaj, and how he was so merciful. I mean, Prabhupada says in those purports there that Vasudev Dutt was more merciful than Lord Jesus Christ. Of course, I don't know if a lot of Christians would like to hear that.
Yeah.
But that appeared in the revised. Oh, really? It was completely taken out?
No, it wasn't taken out. There was a statement in there. I'll look it up. It wasn't as heavy.
I think it even says like 1,000 times greater than.
Definitely heavier. It was softened by the original editor.
Yeah, it's 1,000 times greater.
Yeah,
Jesus
because
Christ.
he probably was saying that because Jesus Christ will deliver those who surrender to him.
Exactly.
Whereas
yeah.
Vasudeva Dutt said, "We'll deliver everyone.
Everybody.
You know, I don't care whether you surrender to me or not."
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and then of course Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Okay, fine, just it's all liberated. You don't have to suffer in hell." But I was thinking how at one time I always remember this. It's actually in that book that Hari K. Swami wrote. All glories to the Sankirtan devotees.
Yeah.
That book distribution book. And I think it's there where he remembers how he asked Prabhupada a question, and the question he asked Prabhupada was that, "Oh, Prabhupada, you seem to be in the mood of Prahlad Maharaj. Is that true?" And Prabhupada said, "Yes, I'm in the mood of Prahlad Maharaj. I'm always trying to deliver these fools and rascals, always trying to save them." So, just relating. You got Prahlad Maharaj, and then Vasudeva Dutt, his type of mentality, and then you got Srila Prabhupada, it's kind of... So, anyways, yeah, I think...
It's interesting, a devotee once asked Prabhupada, "Prabhupada, who are you?" And Prabhupada said, "If I told you, you wouldn't believe me." That was it. Who knows who Srila Prabhupada is? I mean, he fulfilled the prediction of the Supreme Lord, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, anything else? Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki.